So, like, obviously the TV title got put on you and everything like that. How did your relationship kind
When
of
you got
change?
put on, TV title got put on me. What a way
You got the W. You got the W. You picked it
to
up. You took out Bam Bam. Uh, how did that relationship change with you with Paul at that time and everything? Was it
Oh,
anything
he
kind of?
loved me.
Yeah.
He loved me, and everything that I was doing, it was sounding genuine to say he had dollar signs in his eyes. It wasn't like I felt like that, but I was very much encouraged. I was always backed up, and he was always, like, hey, business is great. You're doing great. Every match that I had was, he was arguably the best match on the card, regardless of who I wrestled against. And that was my goal. That's what I wanted. But
Right.
obviously that's subjective. But it was, we were growing. The gate was growing, and then, it was like, boom, we're getting action figures, we're getting, the magazine, whatever order that was in, we're getting national TV, we're getting pay-per-view, whatever, like everything kept going. And even we were going to get on a real channel at the end there, until finally it just like boom, ended up not happening in the biggest way. But during that time, that was the most fun I've had in my career, where week by week I was trying to outdo myself, trying to find a way to outdo my last stunt by making it more extreme, learning a lot more, obviously, just through experience. I mean, when I went there in 96, I'd only been in the business 6 or 7 years. So it's not
Yeah.
like I was even a 10-year vet yet. I've learned how to put everything together there and in Japan.
Man. Yeah. And well, too. We mentioned this last week. Mentioned this last. We mentioned this last week is about you kind of feeling the confidence and getting the confidence around the time with WrestlePalooza, and this was a little like '98 and stuff like that. At this time too, when you were starting the TV championship reign, like how much kind of, and you were talking about this too, like a lot of the creative freedom that you would have. Did Paul give you pretty much a good amount of carte blanche creatively to do what you wanted in matches and kind of tell the story that how you wanted to?
Yeah, he did. He did. He did, and even like in WWE, a lot of times that would be the case. Like if Arn Anderson was my agent, he would just come up and say, "Hey, man, it's uh, you and Road Dogg tonight. You got 6 minutes. We're gonna start with him in the ring. It includes your entrance, so you really only got like 5 minutes." They were talking about they'd like to see a frog splash. Is there? You got any ideas? You got anything I need to know about? And that would usually be it anyway. And that's kind of comes with respect.
Yeah,
Right.
and trust too. Yeah, all that stuff.
And then usually he'd be like, no, I'm not, are you gonna do anything crazy outside? Do I need to warn the camera guys or anything? Like, no, all good. And I learned to have that freedom and to deserve it, with ECW, like just setting up the matches with Sabu under his tutelage. And Sabu was like the god there before me, like him and Taz were building up this thing where they didn't touch each other, but they were teasing it, and it was boom, it was just growing and growing and growing, and that was what they had before I got there. And so those are two of the top guys. And then when I started wrestling Sabu, I fit like right into that equation. So there was always a feeling that what we were doing was going to be right. If we had any questions, I could ask. I don't know if I ever did, but I'm sure I could have said, "Hey, I'm thinking of, like, is it cool if we go up the bleachers and go?" I don't know. I really don't remember ever asking if something made sense or what order. But if Paul had any ideas, then he would pitch them. But I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
But he
yeah.
probably did, though.
But that had to be just like like you were saying, just a great environment to kind of grow and develop and do what you want and kind of like make your own persona and develop your own persona, who you were, as RVD and everything. So it definitely cultivated for that.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. Looking back, I always probably thought that I knew more than I did. Probably, just like outside of the ring too. I always say this. That's part of growing. If you look
Yeah,
back, at yourself. If you don't cringe, you probably didn't grow, and that's
right.
that's in and out of the ring. so when I look back to it, sometimes I watch matches and I'm like, dude, I didn't sell anything. Like, and now, unfortunately, that's the way everybody now wrestling watched that and learned from that. So now they don't sell anything, you know, and it's like they didn't have any hands on. They just watched it and then took after. And so I see a lot of that. I'll call it flawed material bleed over into the current product.
The current product.
Yeah.